You're welcome back to yet another episode of Naked Hearts, where hearts and minds are renewed, where we bring couples on board to share their experiences, to share their story, and to, help lift and bless the lives of others who are yet to marry and those who are even in marriage, share experiences with each other. Today is really a special episode. We have our first couple on set. So I'll start by introducing them. There's a lot to share in terms of introduction, but I would share a few as we progress. I'll keep sharing them. So we have President and Sister Allotey. And I say President, I would explain that later. Now, President Allotey has served in many church callings in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And he's currently the stake president of Ghana Kaswa Stake. He professionally, he's worked in the oil and gas industry. He's has worked in the Slumber J for so many years. He's worked with Notec Services Limited, Share Water Juice Services. And he's an offshore seismic exploration specialist. So, like I said, I wouldn't share all the details now. So I would share them as we progress. And then Sister Allotey is a licensed medical lab technologist, but she now serves as the co-founder of Industrial African Courtship, where her husband, President Daniel Allotey, is also a founder of Industrial Courtship Africa. President and Sister Allotey, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You are so much welcome to Naked Heart. Now, on Naked Heart, we share experiences. We talk about marriage. We talk about how the journey has been so far. And before we actually go into how you both met and all of that, what we want to talk about is how your first 4 children their names start with A. So we have Emi, Amber, Amarisa, and Amanda before we come to Denzel. So is there a secret? Is there a secret behind that?
Okay, so I think let me start it off.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, all our kids, especially the girls,
Yes.
they all have names. I would say not really a secret, but then both of us, myself and Allotey, we love first things.
Okay.
So everything that comes first,
Okay.
we really cherish.
Okay.
So you seeing their names with A, Amy, Amber, Amanda, Marisa. Yeah.
Okay.
They are A grade children. Okay. So basically that is the alpha of everything. It's A. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So we have, like I mentioned, we have Emmy, so in order, Emmy, Amber, Amarisa, and Amanda, yes. Then we have Denzel. So what about Denzel?
Yeah, so I think Sister Allotey would take this one.
Okay. So he's Daniel Denzel Nipapo Allotey, who takes after President Daniel Allotey. Yes.
Yeah, so for Denzel, it's very obvious. We planned that if we had a son, we're going to name him after the father.
Okay.
And then also Denzel comes from this American actor.
Okay.
I picked the name from there. He's called Denzel Washington.
Okay.
I really love that actor. He's my favorite actor. Yes. So
he is my favorite too.
yes. I love his movies. So
nice.
I had always said that if I had a son, I was going to name him after
him.
Yes, as well.
Wonderful.
Yes, so that's where Denzel comes from.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's by way of introduction. So we have Sister Emma Allotey, and President Daniel Allotey. So, like I said, He's President Daniel Allotey because he's the stake president of the Ghana Castle stake of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'm privileged to serve with him in the stake presidency. I'm his second counselor in the Kaswa stake presidency. Now, before we delve into the discussion, these are couples I've learned from, or my wife and I have learned from afar and from being close to them. And I'm very certain that we are going to get a lot of nuggets, beautiful nuggets in this particular discussion. So we'll delve straight into how President and Sister Allotey met. We've had President Allotey talked about, his marriage a few times, but now we have Sister Allotey on set. So for this one, we want to listen to the story from her perspective, how Sister Allotey met President Allotey.
Wow. Well, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
But we met at school.
Okay.
Tertiary, yes.
Okay.
And we met at ATU.
Okay.
Formerly Accra Polytechnic. Yes. Well, I think when we met, he was doing national service.
Okay.
And then I was also still in school.
Okay.
So basically, we met at the library.
Okay.
We both loved going to the library.
Okay.
I was always a library student.
Okay.
Always you find me at the library.
Okay.
So I think one time I was sitting at the library and then he came to sit by me and, he picked my book and then he saw my name behind the book and he tried to mention he was with his friend.
Okay.
Okay, so that was our first encounter there.
Okay.
Nothing much. We didn't even exchange any contact back then. And subsequently, I met him on campus. Sometimes if I'm going for lunch, I'll meet him and then we'll talk. But I was really not... Well, I wasn't showing that much interest.
Okay.
Until, after some time, I decided, let me just allow him to be my friend.
Okay.
So that's how it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So President persevered. He didn't stop.
No, he didn't.
That's nice. That's really nice. Thank you so much, President. So, from the story Sister Allotey just shared. So, when you met Sister Allotey in the library and continually meeting her on campus, if there is something I've actually learned from this very short story, you didn't relent. You didn't, you continue to, go for it. This is something, people growing up, people who are, preparing to marry have asked a lot. The young single adults, these are questions they ask a lot. If you go try to befriend a lady and, what do you do? How do you handle it? So, how do you handle it?
Oh, okay. So, in fact, just like you said, at the library, I just try to. It's very unusual of me. Let me put it that way. Myself, I'm very reserved.
Sure.
Right. So I really take a lot of time before I do things.
Yeah.
If I want to do something, I would plan it and think. And so probably she might be thinking that was the first time that I saw her in the library, but that wasn't actually the first time I saw her in the library. I've seen her a couple of times. So that day I just decided to see who she is and and I'm somebody who is very, I would say I'm a bit choosy.
Okay.
I don't really flow with everything.
Sure.
And so if you see me get into something, it means it's something that I really studied from afar.
Sure.
And I want to see how that goes and what that is. So from the library a couple of times on campus. Just hi. Okay. The first day, there was something she didn't add.
Okay.
Okay. So that first day that I sat by her and I took her book, she was not happy at all. Okay. I took her book and that experience wasn't good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
So the subsequent meetings, they were not like pleasant ones as well. Okay, so like this somebody you have met before.
Yeah.
She wasn't really happy that you approach her in some way, and now you see her again. You want to maybe say hello or something. I mean, you guess what will happen.
Yes.
Okay, like I mean, you are giving a wall, sort of. Yeah. But then, like I said, I really always look for unique things in everything. Okay. Right? I mean, you would say there are a lot of females and all that, but then I was somebody who didn't really have a lot of female friends. I mean, I would say by then I didn't really have any close female friends. So this was the one I really wanted to try and see how it would go, and I kept on. Yes, every time I see her, but I think what really cemented everything was one day. I think they came to our department. Okay. Yeah, and if I remember right, we were in a lab, in a class, and then they were coming and I was the TA. Okay. So she and her group were coming into the same class where we were finishing our class from. Okay. So I think it was that day that we spoke a little bit, and then she asked, okay, so, and I told her, no, I'm not a student. I'm actually, a TA, and I'm in a mechanical lab, and I invited her to visit me at the lab. Okay. Okay, so
the first invitation from you was to the lab.
Yes, but that was after a couple of times trying to talk to her, and she would not talk to me. Okay. Okay, so this one was in the classroom. Okay. Yeah. So I think one afternoon I was in the lab when I had a surprise visit. Okay. It was her. She just passed through, and I think I would say that was the beginning of our friendship.
That's nice. That's really nice. So, to you young single adults out there, I mean, these questions you've asked it so many times. I mean, when you approach a sister and I mean, you want to befriend the sister and all of that. I mean, Allotey had, I mean, with the story, there were walls. I mean, quite a number of walls. And, you know, maybe you have to learn a thing or two from this. The first invitation was to the laboratory. I mean, it was that was really cool. So, I mean, you should learn some of these skills from Parent Allotey and Sister Allotey. Okay, so parents. So from there, how when you started dating, did you start dating from that point, or there was another time? When did you start dating? And let me box this together. How did you get to know this was a time for you both to decide to marry? So maybe Sister Allotey, I'll take this maybe first from you before President Allotey. When did you start dating? And then at what point did you decide that, no, we are ready to marry? This is the man I want to marry.
Well, after visiting his office, the lab was his office. That's where he was the TA. Yeah, so after visiting him. So I was also one lady that didn't really look out for a rich guy. Sure. I only looked out for a guy who had potential. Sure. Okay, so after interacting with him at his office and looking at how he was teaching the students and all that, so that I know. I mean, this guy, he has a lot of potential. So from there, we exchanged contact and then we started communicating. And in no time, I finished my course as well. I left, but we kept in touch. We spoke very frequently. Almost every day we spoke, and then I mean that's how it started. And we had to date for years. I think it was about 5 years. Yes. that was after school. He finished national service, and then he had his first job with the oil company. I had also finished my course and I was working. I worked at Kolebu for a while, and then I moved to PPH and NGO. So as he was going to work on the sea all the time, I was working. And yes, we're still dating. And so because of his work, we had to get to know ourselves for a long time, for 5 years. Yeah, so after 5 years, we tried to put everything together. We built our house, and then then we decided that we'll get married.
Okay.
Then we did.
That's a beautiful story. So, I mean, from what Sister Allotey said, it is really very necessary. And I'm sure people have heard this so many times, and sometimes we, especially nowadays, we look over some of these things. But it is very important to look out for potential. It is very, very important. Okay, priority. So, from your side, from your perspective, is there anything, Allotey? Because at first you said she left something. So, is there anything she's left out from this particular story too?
In fact, she has really summarized. But I will just I want to pick a few.
Okay.
I mean, interesting moments in there and share them.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see, stories are powerful.
Yeah.
And stories would always, keep you wanting to find more. Okay, so what next? What next? What next? And in fact, when we started, friending each other, we shared a few, information about ourselves. And I also realized that this is somebody who also has a very beautiful, let me say, objectives in life. Right? She had a potential. She was somebody who was looking for not just to be married to just anybody, but then she was also looking. She had her principles.
Okay.
Right. Let me put it that way. And she had her objectives. She had where she wanted to be, where the height she wanted to get to, and all that. So, having discussed a few things about ourselves, we felt like, okay, why don't you give ourselves a try?
Okay.
And we had a lot of moments together. We didn't started dating.
Okay.
At that point, I wouldn't say we were dating.
Okay.
I would say we were still friends. So we were friends for a really long time. And for me, if probably she didn't say, but if there was one thing I was looking at is, how she dealt with other people, how she related to other people.
Sure.
And the biggest thing is, like I've shared with you, President.
Yes.
I'm somebody, I'll call myself a jealous person.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous, but then there are some things that I wouldn't share.
Yeah.
There are some things you wouldn't share for with anybody and for anything, right? And that is somebody who is becoming a close friend to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, after about a year that we met, I had to start traveling. So my job took me around the world, and as I'm away, I was always looking back, not spying, but then, this is somebody you are planning to, get closer to, is becoming somebody you are interested in and all that. So I was looking at somebody who will be very faithful.
Okay.
Somebody who feared God.
Yeah.
And I saw that in her. So it went on and on and on and on. And after 4 or 5 years that we actually started dating.
Okay.
Yeah. All that was from the beginning was just getting to know each other, friendship, being closer, and
Okay. So, President Allotey, how did you manage the long distance relationship? And it's something that people talk a lot about and ask how other people manage, long distance relations. So when you started dating, I know your job, took you everywhere in the world. So, Allotey, when you were here, when he was on the sea, how did you manage to get to know each other often and, get to be able to bond and actually decide to marry?
Well, I think he had quite a good work schedule.
Okay.
He will be on the sea for 5 weeks, and then he'll be back home for 5 weeks.
Okay.
So during the time that he was back home, we spent all that time getting to know ourselves and go closer and then plan things for ourselves.
Okay. So, within those 5 weeks that you are away, like you shared, getting to know, how God-fearing she is and all of that. Did you feel at any point that those 5 weeks away or those alternating 5 weeks away made you, or at that point in time, did you feel you were missing anything, or you felt because of the bond you built for the 5 weeks you were here, all the 5 weeks alternating you were here, it actually got you even much closer?
Yes, I mean, I would say this is someone who, I mean, her itinerary is not complicated at all.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So from school home, from home work. I mean, typical of me as well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, there were no like strange stories that would keep you.
Yeah.
Okay, trying to find the maze or find a way through the maze or trace the map, and I mean, there was nothing like that.
Okay.
Everything was, I mean, very straightforward. I mean, and you see, all these are stuff that would give you comfort.
Yeah.
And in fact, it wasn't just that. Sometimes you get a verbal comfort as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like you are making your mind, I'm also making my mind.
Sure.
And this is where we are going. So I would say we met ourselves, we became friends, and we were very serious with each other.
Yeah.
We didn't joke with each other's, let me say, feelings, and no, not at all.
Yeah.
We were serious with each other because I saw a lot of potential in her as well, just like she did in me. And we plan to work our lives and be together one day forever. And I think we are on that journey.
All right. Thank you so much, President Sister Allotey, for sharing those beautiful moments with us. Okay, so President, let's fast forward to marriage. So I know you married in 2012.
Yeah, 2018.
Okay. 2018.
Sorry, 2012.
2015. Okay.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
2018, something happened. That's why it's just pulling me there. So 2012.
2012. So in the preparation to marry, we just want to talk briefly on preparation to marriage. I think sometimes as we prepare to marry, as young adults prepare to marry, there's this thing about finances, making sure you are mentally ready and all these things. You both talked about how serious you were with the relationship you had. But moving into marriage, preparing for marriage, what were the things? So this is more about the day before we come into the marriage. Were there things you felt you had to do, before you marry Allotey? This one I would put it straight to you. Were there things you felt you had to do before you marry Allotey? Okay,
so I would say, yeah, we had some objectives.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I was, I would say, very fortunate.
Sure.
To have had some, let me say, lead in life.
Sure.
Right. But then, even before I started working offshore, I had a lot of preparations in place already.
Sure.
And in fact, I think that was one of the things that Sister Allotey also looked at.
Okay.
As a young man, I was very much industrious. I did a lot of things that young men
would you like to share?
My age would not do.
Yes.
Okay, and to go into it, let me say I had a life plan.
Okay.
Right, I wanted to get married at age 30, and then I had another plan that if there's a way I could fast forward that.
Okay.
To, let's say, 28 thereabout, that would be okay. So all these things I had them written down.
Okay.
I had a little book that had all my plans and everything inside. And as a person, I was also looking at my career, my schooling. So I knew I would have to get there. And for me to get there, it means I need to prepare.
Yeah.
Right. So I did a lot of things. I did a lot of businesses, let me put it that way.
Okay.
So I was a young entrepreneur, doing my own thing in my own corner.
Sure.
I raised chickens, rabbits, I sold CDs.
Okay.
Music, right?
Yes.
I sold music, worked at the market. I did so many things.
Sure.
That would help me raise money.
Exactly.
And as young as I was, even before I started going offshore, I think I'd saved some cash in the bank.
Okay.
I had some blocks.
Sure. Sure.
in preparation for my for building,
Exactly.
and I had a piece of land.
Yeah.
So all these things I had done at a very young age.
Yes.
Okay, planning for my future. Now, I'm not saying all young people should have a home, should have a land, or should have a lot of money before they can get married. No, but then what I'm talking about here is preparing. Right? Preparing. I mean, we all know ourselves. We know where we want to get to. Right? So in your own small way, prepare. I mean, in terms of attitude wise, yes, I was prepared as well. Because I didn't want to disappoint the lady that would say yes to me. Okay, I wanted to show that lady that yes, I'm prepared and I have the focus and everything. So that's what I did. Yeah, and all these little works. I mean, I think were some of the things Allotey saw, because by then there was no Slumberger in the picture. I mean, I was a TA at Accra Poly. By then I was planning. The school was planning to send me to where I think it was sending me out. At some time to go and maybe do my degree or masters and whatever, and come back. And come and teach in the school. But I mean, with this employment coming in, everything changed. And
Okay. Thank you so much, President Daniel Allotey. Ms. Allotey, would you want to share a few things on just the preparation towards marriage? Any key moment? If maybe President has also left certain things from the story.
Yeah. So, when two people are going to get married, I mean, a man and a woman, we all have things we have to prepare and get ready for. So on my side, as a lady, as I was working, I made sure I had a lot of mentors at my workplace, and they gave me a lot of advice that as you are working, you could buy this and buy that. And then I'm like, oh, Auntie Audrey, I'm not ready. She's like, no, you don't have to be ready. You need to start to buy them, buy a big bag, keep everything. And then by the time that time is up, you are ready with the basic things a woman needs to take to her husband's home. And I think I did exactly that. So we need to have mentors as we plan to become wives.
Thank you very much, President Allotey. This is really beautiful. So if there are lessons we are learning here, it is to first be very focused. If you are dating someone, be very serious about the relationship. There's no time to be careless. There's no time to just do things anyhow. It is very important. Now, to the guys, it is very important, just like Allotey said, to as young as you feel you are, or as old as you feel you are, it is important to put in the work. Nothing is beyond you. There are so many things you can do to be able to, prepare for marriage. You don't have to wait for the ideal job and just sit and all of that. Do things that can be able to bring in something for you to be able to marry and marry well. It is very important. Okay, so in marriage, so you have been married for is it 12 years?
Yes.
12 years.
Yes.
Wonderful. So that's more than a decade. So that's a lot of experiences to share. So in marriage, what has been some of the things you would consider challenges in marriage, and how have you been able to approach them, or how do you normally approach challenges in marriage? Whether it is with kids, whether it is both of you, whichever way, how have you been able to deal with challenges in marriage?
Challenges come in so many forms and in so many shapes. And every marriage has its unique challenges. I would say myself and Mr. Allotey have been very, very considerate. Very, very considerate. We consider each other a lot. Now, I'm taking your question from this angle. Now, I'll descend so that you get what I mean. You can talk about financial challenge. You can talk about social, right? Maybe you have some kind of a strong attitude that, you wouldn't let go easily, right? Maybe challenges from family. Okay, other side, both sides of the family, challenges from friends. we've been very considerate. Okay, sometimes we have to go down, come close to ourselves, and then discuss issues up front. Right? And then we discuss issues as they have already happened. And tell ourselves, hey, you know what? It is me and you in here. Right? We have God first, us, and then everybody else comes. So why don't we look at this challenge, this issue, and then try to, first of all, see how best we can, solve it in our way. And then if peradventure, what we are going through has an extension to other family members, other friends, okay, how best can we come together to look at their interest as well? So we've always looked at ourselves, first of all, to save ourselves, to save the marriage. And then we now extend to, okay, who else does this extend to? And I would say that is one thing that we've done so much. No matter what happens, yes, there have been times that we've been very angry at each other, we've been furious. But we always find that point where we come together and then we want to level things down and look at the marriage. Because, probably we didn't say something. When we started dating, we had a song that we sang together. Right? And I think Sister Allotey will sing that song. Right? And when we always refer to that, it brings us back. To want to, regardless what has happened, regardless what is happening or what is going on, it is still the two of us. We discovered ourselves and we are here, so we can still level this down and move on. So Sister Allotey will sing the song for us.
Oh well, maybe today my voice may not be good to sing the song, but I'll just say the title of the song. We always sang the song that we want to grow old together. I'm sure it's a song that a lot of us know. And we will sing that song to each other, even on the phone. Whilst he was at work, and then it was like a kind of reassurance for the two of us, even with the distance that was between us. And so we always sang that we want to grow old together. And we still remember that song, have it at heart, and we are working towards that goal. Yeah.
This is really wonderful and very unique. And like we've shared, every marriage is very unique, and the two people in a marriage have different backgrounds, different experiences, and all of that. So no two marriages are actually the same. So this is something I'm learning now. So this is something Sister Allotey and President Allotey used to, reassure themselves and all of that. So as you are out there, as you are watching this, you can have something, anything that would bring you back to, level ground, to say, hey, we are in this together and we have to work at it. So this is DS. You can also, have your own thing that can always reassure you. Okay, so Allotey, now let's come to a bit of parenting. Parenting, and then when the kids came in or started coming in, did it change your life in any way? Because it was just the two of you. Now the kids started coming in. How did it change anything, if it did, in the marriage, or how did you adjust to you and President? Because there is this notion out there that when kids coming into the marriage, the men feel neglected. They feel, now the concentration of the wives are now all on the kids. How have you been able to deal with that?
Well, I think like President already said, we were all considerate. We knew that once we start to have kids, it was going to change something about us. And I don't think it was a big deal for him. He understood perfectly. We all expected and we welcomed the children. So we work pretty much together just to get the children into our lives. So it was kind of normal. It was okay.
Reality. How were you also? This one. Basically, what is for most men who actually say this thing. So, how have you been able to deal with that? Have you felt neglected? Let me put the question that way.
No, really. The irony of the fact is that for me, even at the point that we started having children, I was always away.
Okay.
I was always away. I mean, sometimes I would just be there. In fact, there's one thing I've really, I would say I'm happy I was able to do is to be there when all of them were delivered.
Okay.
I would make arrangement with my boss at work and try to get the time to be in the theater.
Okay.
Right, when she delivers. But then, right after that, a couple of days, sometimes even not up to 1 week.
Okay.
I need to travel somewhere. So, I didn't really feel that neglected because when I'm home, it was a very good experience.
Sure.
Okay, I've gone to work, I'm home. Okay, there's a baby.
Yeah.
I do my best to, fit in, try to help as much as I can.
Sure.
And then within some few weeks, I'm off again.
Yeah.
So this happened for, I think, all of our 4 girls, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of the 4 girls, I was away. Sometimes I miss first West, I miss first dates at school.
Okay.
It's really been, and in fact, this is one thing that I would say even strengthens our bond even more because I know I'm married to a woman who is very strong.
Yeah.
Okay, she's got a home solid.
Yeah.
She's got my back, and when I'm home, I don't feel any different. She still goes ahead and she's able to do what she has to do normally, as if the children are not even there.
Yeah.
But then, what the twist is, at a point, I started feeling so, strange every time I have to leave home.
Okay.
When the children grew up a bit, and then they take me to the airport. And then I'm leaving. Then everybody's crying.
Yeah.
From that point, I started saying to myself, no, I need to start thinking of coming back.
Sure.
Start thinking of stopping this frequent traveling and then come back. So I also started planning from there. And these were things that we discussed as well.
Okay.
So it was planning and planning and planning. We do a lot more planning than crying about challenges.
Issues. Exactly.
Okay. If there's one thing that I'll say is with the 2 of us, we are always looking ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, how we can overcome hurdles and rather than being like, okay, so you're always not here and we have those things don't come to me. They don't come at me.
Yeah.
Right? We're always trying to. And I'm happy that finally I was able to come home and
how different has it been now being home for a few years now? How different has it been when you are away and going and coming? Now being there every time, especially maybe for the first 6 months, being there for the first 6 months at home. How was it?
Oh, I would say it was a mixed feeling.
Okay.
I really enjoy the family.
Sure.
I enjoy the children a lot.
Yeah.
And we just had a boy.
Sure.
So it's been girls.
Yes.
and girls and their father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm home, they are all over me and all that. So it was fun. But then I would say the very first few months that I wasn't going offshore, I missed the work also a lot.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
My friends offshore, my bosses, and sometimes I'll be there and I'll tell her that I wish I would go back offshore. But then I'll remember 1 or 2 things offshore and no, this is the right place to be.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So it was a mixed feeling. But then now I'll say I've really settled into it, and we're having a great time as a family.
Yeah. So the Allotey and present, at this point, what advice would you give to people who are aspiring to marry? And there are a lot of people in various stages of marriage, and either a few years of marriage or even a lot of years in marriage. This time I would put you on the spot in terms of you being a stake president and also as a husband. What advice would you give to the young people who are preparing to marry, and also people who are married who are feeling that, hey, then I'm not doing again? And this show is basically to knit hearts together to bring miracles. So in summary, what advice would you give to these people?
Yeah, this is a golden question. In fact, there can be so many rights and so many wrongs about trying to answer this question. Yeah. But then, in my own perspective, I would say young men, young women who are planning to get married should first of all be patient. Patient in the sense that the one that they would want to get married to would also be someone who has their own dreams, their own aspirations, and their hopes in life. And when you meet someone you are planning together, you have to consider both your aspirations and that of your, of the one who you want to get together with, and try to see how you can merge those two goals or those two aspirations together. And if you can do that and do that well, I would say you would really, get to a point where you would not find a lot of things difficult. The second thing I would say is we shouldn't look too much at physical look or outward appearance. We need to try to find people who share the same goals with us. They share our aspirations and hopes. Even if they don't share, there are people who yearn to those aspirations. I'm talking for both sides. And if you're able to get that right as well, that would also help. The other thing I'll touch on is halves. As young as you would be, we are talking about, let's say from 25 to 30 years. For Africa, or even sometimes 35, 40 years. You may not have everything, but then we always talk about having the potential. You should be doing something meaningful, so long as two of you can understand each other. No matter how small you have, I think you can work at making it and then developing it, and that will be a good thing for both of you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is that okay?
Yeah, so I would like to say that as young ladies that are either in marriage or looking to be married to, I always tell my friends that marriage is about wisdom, it's about understanding, and it's about compromise. Once you can be able to exhibit these three things, then you'll be able to stay in marriage for long.
And President, let me just add one very, very important thing. This time I would want to put on my stake president hat or cap, right? Nothing will succeed in this world, from what we know and our beliefs, without Jesus Christ and without God. So as you are planning to get married, make sure you are finding someone who is also God fearing and also knows God. If you are not someone who knows God or who is a believer in God, then I would invite you to want to get a bit closer. And if you are not, we are talking to both young men, young women in our church and in other churches, and also those who believe in God and don't believe in God alike. What I would say is, regardless what you believe, know that there is a supreme God somewhere who makes everything possible, and look up to him. Try to be good. Put your hopes and aspirations in him, and he is going to direct you.
All right. Thank you so much, President and Sister Allotey. And this is such a fantastic end to this particular episode, the God factor. That was actually my last question, and President has basically answered that the God factor in marriage is so crucial to the success of marriage. When everything else, goes just bonkers, it is the God factor that would always bring us together. And on Naked Hearts, we continue to invite you to strengthen your relationship with our Father in heaven and His Son Jesus Christ, and be able to obey the basic commandment that He's asked us to. And this then strengthen us to be better people, to be able to strengthen the marriages that we have. Our President Allotey, we are so grateful for your time on this show, Naked Hearts, and we pray that God will continue to bless your marriage and your children and your generations, and that everything that you do, you would continue to succeed in all your endeavors. We are so grateful.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we've come to the end of another show. We hope you enjoyed this particular show, this particular episode. And we invite you to comment, like, subscribe, and follow T-Boy TV and Root and Wings also on YouTube. And please stick and stay for the next episode. See you.